Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was scheduled to call upon the Emperor of Japan this morning. Meanwhile, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has agreed to provide aid to Sri Lanka to develop infrastructure and strengthen maritime security during a meeting with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday. The Japanese Premier has pledged 45 billion yen in infrastructure aid to Sri Lanka. Prime Minister officially met his Japanese counterpart yesterday in Tokyo and held discussions on strengthening bilateral ties. This was stated in a joint declaration issued yesterday after the official bilateral discussions between the two Prime Ministers of Sri Lanka and Japan. Premier Wickremesinghe has promised that his government would create a more favorable investment climate by ensuring transparency and good governance to attract investment from Japanese companies. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe delivered a special speech before Japanese parliamentarians. During his one-hour speech, Premier Wickremesinghe said that Japan is expected to provide a pioneering contribution at a time the current government of Sri Lanka has reached before the economic transition of Southeast Asia. Meanwhile, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe pledged aid to Sri Lanka in a meeting with Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe, reiterated a promise to help Sri Lanka bolster its maritime security and to provide patrol ships. Sri Lanka is moving away from the former government's pro-China stance and has suspended most Chinese-backed infrastructure projects. It is also trying to put more emphasis on ties with Japan, which dovetails with Abe's hope to counter a rising China.